Today's going to be a great day for a cruise. Oh. Guess the cruise is going to have to wait. I have a flat tire. See that? She's flat. Huh. Yep, that's flat. Well, what to do? What to do? Well, I guess I can, whoa! Well, looks like all my stuff here to change a flat is here. Huh. How about that? Well, I guess I'm going to show you guys a few methods on what to do when you have a flat tire. I guess I might as well put this tripod down. Well, I got one more thing I need to get. Alright, I guess it's kind of hard to change a flat tire without the spare tire. So, we need to locate our spare tire, and I'm going to show you guys what to do. Pull out this junk. We've got another jack here. So I've got a few different types of jacks. I'm also going to show you guys how to use each and every one of them. So we need to locate the spare tire in our vehicle. In most cars, you will find them in the trunk, underneath the carpet, in a nice little tucked away spot here. This is where you'll usually find your factory spare tire jack. So we are going to grab that. We're also going to grab our tire wrench. Just put you down here. So we got a lot of items that we're going to need. First, we need to start with this guy. We need to go into our trunk and pull out our spare tire. Alright, let's get you guys situated and set up. Alright, so with a flat tire, one of the best things you guys can invest in is an air compressor. Now you've got multiple choices of types of air compressors you can use. On a car like this, you can use a manual pump, and I'm going to go get mine and show you it. Alright, so this is my manual air pump. I use this to pump up air mattresses and beach toys, but you can get a hose fitting that does connect and usually comes with the kits. I've long lost mine, but it connects to here. What you do is you hook it up to your tire, you stand on this, and pump it, and the air comes out of here. So that's one form of air pump. The next form is you can get a 12-volt air compressor. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those, so I cannot show it to you. But that is one thing that you guys can go get. Next step is a portable 120-volt air compressor. And this is what I'm going to be using on the car. So, with this, you'll also need your air chuck and your tire gauge, along with your hose. Now this is going to get loud, so I'm not going to be able to talk while I do this. So I'm going to plug in the compressor. I'm going to let it charge up to its power, or to its pressure size. I think 120 is its shut off. And then I'm going to inflate the tire on the car via connecting this to here after I take off the Schrader cap. So, to plug this in, it's going to be noisy, so you have to bear with that. And there we go. So the compressor is inflated or pumped up. Now we need to go to our vehicle. We need to take off the Schrader valve and pump this up. Now it might get noisy again because the compressor will probably kick in, but what you want to do is you want to inflate this to 32 psi. So, take off our cap. Connect our compressor fitting. Alright, so we've got our tire inflated. We're at 32 psi. Now what you want to do is you want to listen. See if you can hear any air leaking. If you got some air leaking, then you've probably got a nail or something stuck in your tire. If it doesn't leak, if you don't hear air leaking, you can always take some soapy water. This is just soapy water in an old Windex bottle, and you can spray it around your tire and look for air bubbles. Now around the tread, all that, in here. If you don't see any bubbles, then that means some jerk probably let the air out of your tire. It's simple enough to do this and let the air out of the tire. If you do hear air leaking, we're going to simulate that. I just got to go find something. I'll be back. So, I'm going to take this screw, simulate a hole in my tire. Not actually going to put a hole in my tire, but I am going to put it into the Schrader valve. And this will simulate a hole in the tire. Now this will obviously go flat again. So I'll show you next how to change the spare tire using multiple different types of tools. Looks like it's flat again. Alright. Well, tire didn't hold air, so it looks like we gotta change it. Alright. Let's move the camera back a smidge more. Yeah, that's better. So, to change the flat tire, you're going to need a few items. You're going to need your spare tire jack, either the one in your trunk, or whatever you have at home if you're at home. And you're going to need your tire iron, or a breaker bar, a socket. In my case, this is a 13/16 lug nut. Most of them, I should say, are 3/4 inch. You can use an electric impact gun, pneumatic impact, or battery operated cordless impact. So we're going to start with our jack. Actually, no. Haha, I almost made that mistake. Let's take this out. You want to start with your tire iron. Break your lug nuts loose. So I'm going to stick one on the lug nut. This is on there. 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 And you want to crack them loose. If they're really tight, you put it on and you can stand on the tire iron. Your weight should help break that loose. Another item you can use, and we'll grab it, is a breaker bar. Now, 13/16 is also the same size as 21 millimeter. 21's a little loose. 13/16 is snug. So this one I cracked loose already, so I'm going to put that on there. Breaker bar. Now this gives you a lot of leverage. And you can just lift up, break it free. You don't want to take these off with the car in the ground, or it will fall. And lastly, electric impact. At least that's what I'm using. So, plug in an extension cord. And I'm going to grab my impact wrench. Now, an impact, if you're using an impact to take off the lug nuts, you can do it with the vehicle lifted up off the ground. I'm still not going to. I'm still going to do it with the tires on the ground, just in case this doesn't work. Put it on, zip it off. I think I broke this one loose already, that's why, wasn't it? Yeah, this one was already broken loose. My bad. This one should still be tight though on the bottom. Like that came off way too easy. Alright. Try that again. Right there. Huh? That came off beautifully. I guess they weren't really that on there. Well, they're tight for the tire iron, but now we're going to lift up the vehicle. Relocate the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So, as I stated, there's multiple different types of jacks you can use. I got this floor jack, a bottle jack, and the scissor jack. Some might work better for your application than others. And we'll take an example why. So under the vehicle is where you want to put your jack, and you always want to go along the pinch weld closest to the tire that's flat. So we take my shop jack, my floor jack, and as you can see, it just fits with the tire fully flat. So I'll tighten up the handle, and you always want to make sure it's in park, or if it's manual, in gear, and the e-brake is pulled. So as you can see, this jack works perfect for this car's tire. We're going to lower it back down, and this just fits under it. So we're going to move this one out of the way. Here's my other one. It is a bottle jack. You see the problem? It won't fit under here. So this is good for, if you got a pickup truck, an SUV, something like that, as this will extend up to about here, and then this will even thread out all the way. So this is great for trucks. It's a 4-ton lifting capacity. That won't work for my application. Lastly, we've got your usual pretty standard scissor jack. And these are not the safest jack to use, but for flat tire emergencies, they're there. So you want to line your scissor jack up here with your pinch weld, which is in here. And then you can start lifting. You can use your crank handle here and start twisting away. And this will usually lift the cars most times, no problem. It's just I hate using these, and if I can avoid it, I will. If I got a flat tire on the side of the road, by all means, this is a safe-ish jack to use. Now this isn't one that I would recommend using if you're going to do repairs to your vehicle. And these like to get stuck on the pinch welds. And this one's actually pretty damaged already from use in its past. Looks like this might have rolled off the car once or twice in its time. So, oh boy, this thing's heavy. I'm going to use this guy. It's easy, it's quick, and it lifts the car without any effort. I'm also going to be using a jack stand. Once I get the car up in the air, I'm going to put the jack stand on the pinch weld beside the jack and lower the car down. If you're on the side of the road and you happen to have a flat tire, or you don't have a jack stand, you can always take this tire off, and then the very, very first thing you do after is you slide it under the car. So if the car falls off the jack, it'll land on this and not on you, and it won't kill you. So put your back on the stand, we'll get this up and secured. Alright, let's get it up. Oh. Okay, so I got a little bit of rust on my floorboard, on my rockers. Right at that pinch weld, so let's find me another spot. Oh. Okay, my lower control arm connects up down here. That's going to be my jacking point. There. So it's on my control arm now. That should lift up without a problem. Which it is. I don't know if y'all can see where it is. Not really. Alright, there we go. Now this is more than tall enough now that I could take the tire off and do this fair. But I want to secure it using one of my jack stands. And this can go where that pinch weld is, as there is a bit of reinforcement behind it, or I can safely secure the car. And we leave the jack just pressured ever so slightly for safety measures. Now we take off the tire. This isn't really the best lighting for this, is it? Oh. Trying to do my best with lighting, but do apologize. Let's get this tire off. So all the lug nuts are loose. They should come off no problem. Put that back on so I don't lose it. Alright, so I take the tire off. And yeah, she's flatter than flat. Now this would go where the spare tire goes, and you secure it down, and then you would take this to the nearest shop to either be replaced or repaired. I'm just going to put this off to the side though. This will be going back on shortly. Now, screw for the brake drum is loose. I'm going to go grab a screwdriver, tighten that up. That should not be loose like that. Although, we could take these off. And I'm going to, just to check my brakes. Well, I'm here anyways, I might as well. Oh no, I got my e-brake on. I know the brakes are good. Actually, I'm going to take these off and check the brakes. Y'all don't need to see that though. This is about changing a flat. Check the tire, everything's good. I'm hoping this is better lighting now. Or check the brakes, sorry. So now we take our spare tire. I'm gonna put it on our car. And odds are you're gonna be on the side of the road. So when you're doing all this, also make sure that you've got your hazard lights on, your four-way flashers. Especially if you're doing this when it's dark out, you know, early morning, late evening, or middle of the night. And the last thing you want to do is get hit by a car changing your flat tire. In your driveway, obviously, you don't need to worry about your flashers. So, tighten this down. I've got my e-brake on, so I should be able to tighten these all down. And you don't need to really reef on these to tighten them up. You know, get them snug. Just give it a good push. That's it. That's all it needs. You don't need to over torque these on a spare tire. There. Now we've got our spare. We can now lift our jack up, take it off the stand, and lower it down to the ground and drive away. These are temporary use only. In fact, most of them recommend not to go any faster than I think 60 kilometers an hour. Maybe it's 80. They usually say on here maximum load, blah blah, maximum pressure 60 psi. This is a 115/70/15. This does not have a speed rating. Okay, well, regardless, most of these are only... Oh yeah, it does have a stamp right here saying 40. So 40 kilometers an hour fastest on this tire. This is to get you to a shop, to get your tire repaired. Temporary use, not permanent. Do not drive on these permanently. A little bit safer being a back tire. If it's your front tire on a front wheel drive, you will screw up your transmission and your differential. Temporary use only. So, I'm going to get my full-size tire back on and this guy off. We'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I got the spare tire off. I got my full-size regular tire inflated. And for the most part, if you're now at this point where you're at home and you're putting your tire back on, it's obviously because you plugged or patched it yourself, because oftentimes a shop will put this tire back onto your car for you after they've patched it, they usually put these back on your car. So that means you must have bought a patch and patched it yourself. Which, if you can do that, good on you. I've done it too all the time. So we're going to take our tire. Gonna put it back on. And now, to save time, because I can, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start these by hand. And if you're doing all this yourself, odds are you've probably got an impact gun as well at home. Not, they're only like 30-40 bucks for a cheap one. So now I'm not going to torque it down at this because this electric impact gun goes to 160 foot-pounds. So I'm really only going until each one just gives a slight little click. And then from there, I'm take my torque wrench, and I'm also going to take the car. Oh, that's actually still loose on that one. Lug nut. I'm going to tighten down that one lug nut just a hair more. There. So now I can take the car off of the jack stand. Keep your hands and feet clear, mine are, and lower the jack. Car lowered to the ground, you can now torque these. Now, my car, being a Mazda Protege, the torque specs for the wheel lugs are anywhere between 75 to 85 foot-pounds of torque. I'm going to go cut the difference, go 80. So I'm just going to twist in my torque wrench until I hit 80 foot-pounds. That is 80 foot-pounds. Oh wait, sorry, that was 75 foot-pounds. Now I'm 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to make sure I'm in the tightened position. Now, the reason torque wrenches have a counterclockwise and a clockwise position is because on some vehicles, you've got left-handed threads on the driver's side. That's usually a lot of older vehicles. So we're going to put our torque wrench on. And I need to get a short extension. So I got a short 1-inch extension. Now oftentimes you don't want to use an extension when torquing down wheels because you do lose torque through the extension. This is a 1/2-inch drive, 1-inch extension. So I think I'll be okay with this one. If you've got a deep well socket, that's even better to use. So put our torque wrench on. We're going to basically push it down until you hear a click. Just like that. Once you hear that, you stop. Move opposite of the one you just tightened, star pattern. Start torquing it down. Hear the click, stop. Going to go over until we hear a click, stop. Go up. Torque this one till we hear a click. Stop. Now it's torqued. What I like to do from there is go around in a counterclockwise and just double check each one is torqued properly with making it click one extra time each. There we go. That's torqued. Now you're done. All you gotta do is put your spare tire away and clean everything up. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll close this off. Alright, everything's cleaned up, put away. We are ready to go wherever we need to go. Now I've got nowhere that I really actually need to go, so I'm just gonna go back in the driveway. But car's rolling. We got no more flat tire. So, if you didn't know how to change a flat tire, now you do. Or pump up your tire. You know, really you've got, if you've seen this video, you have no excuse to be able to be stranded on the side of the road with a flat tire, unless you don't have the proper equipment in your car. Which, with that, then I suggest go to your vehicle, pop open your trunk, take a look, find your spare tire, you know, get familiar as to where it is, where your spare tire jack is, where the tire iron is, and maybe even get out there and practice in your driveway on changing a flat tire. It really doesn't take all that long. Through video it takes longer, I'll admit that, but you know, if I had a flat tire, I'd probably be back on the road in 5 minutes. I wouldn't have had to set up all the equipment, everything like that. I would have lifted the car up, taken the tire off, slid it under the car, thrown the spare on, take the tire out from under the car, lower the jack. I'd probably just toss everything in my trunk without securing it, head off to the nearest tire shop. About 5 minutes to change a flat is really what it takes when you know how to. Average person who's not mechanically inclined but changes a flat tire, you know, 10-15 minutes and you'll probably have the tire changed. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, or if you found this video helpful, I ask that you give me a thumbs up. How about you leave me a comment down below if you feel like. And if you want to see more videos, hit that subscribe button. Right here. Right here. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.